Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today we're going to talk about a shift in perspective. Yes, one of the good old days. If you're new to this channel, I love to provide different ways of seeing the world because I really believe that the stories we tell ourselves are actually what help us to think certain ways, what shape our belief system, and the way we see the world is actually how the world is going to show itself to us. So if you believe that through your mind you can change the world, you can change your reality, you're at the right address, because today we're going to talk about a way to find more safety, to find more peace when you're uncertain, when you're not really sure about where you're going, and where you feel like your life direction is being shaken up all the time, because this might actually be a blessing in disguise if we look at it a different way. So if you like that, stick around and let's get into it. Yeah, so I just want to say a little quick, I'm really not in my flow today. I know it's been running. I don't know if my brain is working correctly. So I really hope this video is going to be consistent and is going to make some kind of sense. But a lot of the time you guys pick up on it. So I'm gonna just trust you on this one. I really know how it feels to not know where life is taking you. I am someone that is constantly looking for reassurance, to find my right path, to feel like I'm making the right decisions, to feel like I'm being the right person that I want to be, that I'm going towards the future that I want to go to. And a lot of the times life is just not so clear. It actually is going to be most times like that in my experience. I've always looked for a sense of security, a sense of direction, and I feel like as human beings we really want that security, we want that safety, to know that we're doing right. And that's why we tell ourselves stories, or we have some kind of belief system that is going to push and be like an engine for the actions that we take and reassure us every single day before we go to bed, before we fall asleep. We know, like, okay, maybe I've done something right and tomorrow is going to be a good day and I'm still going on the path towards my future. But sometimes in life we're put in a place where circumstances can really change, where things just fall away, where relationships break up, we lose a job, things just shift in a very uncontrollable way. Change is inevitable, but sometimes when it happens it can feel so dramatic, it can feel so chaotic, and we can lose our entire sense of direction, start to question everything that we've done up to this point, and wonder if we are maybe losing the place that we wanted to go, if we're no longer able to get to that happiness that we thought we were working towards. And it can feel very panicky. It can also leave you in a depression and some kind of rut, because that sense of security is such a big aspect of our peace and of our safety and of our feeling of identity and knowing that we're doing something good. But life is inevitable, change is inevitable in life, and there are going to be some times where we feel lost and where we don't know what we're doing, where we're going, and that can be very scary. So if you are in this place in your life right now, or sometimes it's a reoccurring thing. For me, it has been reoccurring over the past 2 years. Every time I see something or I meet some type of possibility, some type of opportunity that can really make me feel like, oh, now I finally know where I want to go again. And this can be a very dangerous thing. Actually, in my experience, it has been kind of a double-edged sword, where it's always very reassuring to have that point of direction again when we are presented with certain things in our future. But sometimes our imagination can run wild, and sometimes we are so lost that we are looking for whatever possibility, opportunity, or sign we can find around us to find this sense of direction. Maybe if you're more into spirituality, you've also had this with angel numbers. If you are introduced to this for the first time, believe me, you're up for a ride. You're going to start to see them everywhere. And at first it kind of becomes like, it might become like an addiction, or it might become like the main way for you to feel security and to feel reassurance. But that is something that you have to work on. Well, you don't have to work on it, but it's something that you can work on if you want to. It's not even conscious that you necessarily have to do it. Sometimes when we embark on a journey, we have to rely on outside confirmation when we don't know which way to go, when we're in new territory and we don't feel secure in the person that we are yet, in this new direction that we're walking into. So it's not necessarily be a bad thing if you're seeing angel numbers or if you're looking for outside confirmation through videos, or there's signs in so many different ways. Sometimes it's even people we meet. I've seen the most random signs. It can be cars, it can be shops, it can be messages on your Instagram, notifications, shirts, everything. We can find confirmation everywhere when we are really desperately looking for it, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just something that we can be very conscious of. Because after a while, this can become dangerous. In what way, you might ask? If you're in a period of very big transition and you're gonna actually be lost for a little while, let's say life is gonna be constantly changing for a span of 2-3 years, because sometimes it just really does take that long, or even longer, up to 5 or 10 years, you might constantly be looking for a sense of direction, and you might also get that confirmation, but it might not be something that sticks. Sometimes we have to go walk a path. Sometimes we have to discover new avenues, new possibilities, new opportunities to actually be face to face with ourselves, to show ourselves, or it's life's way. For me, the way I see it, it's life ways of putting a mirror in front of ourselves, and for us to look at different parts of ourselves, to maybe work on some things that were inside us that we hadn't really developed yet, or maybe we had a lack of patience, or maybe some ways of thinking were still holding us back from the future that we actually want to have. And I have this a lot of times where I would see some type of possibility, see some type of future, and because I was so insecure and so lost, I will leech onto that with dear life and God, because it's like the only thing that makes sense right now. It has to be this, because if I don't have this, I feel insecure. I still don't know which way to go, and that insecurity is something that we inherently just want to avoid. It's our way of being, it's our way of living, it's in our DNA, it's our primal instincts, right? So sometimes, yes, we're going to be provided with something in our life, a job, a person, a way of thinking that is going to feel like it's giving all the answers to whatever problem, whatever confusion you are having in life. And that can feel like the biggest relief in the world. It can feel like everything kind of makes sense again, like life is all right. And we thank God, like, thank you, God. All this time, you knew, you knew, and I was doubting you. I'm sorry about that. And life is good again until things are not exactly going the way we want them to. And sometimes we can even fall into a pattern where we force certain things to work because we just cannot bear the idea of losing that again and being back in that place of feeling lost. I completely understand. In this place of fighting, because this is usually what it feels like in my experience, where something is not really right, and you will know it. Your intuition will tell it to you. And I truly believe that you don't have to constantly suffer in a place. So if you're in a place and you can see the vision and you know that it's for you, but you constantly have to fight for it to be right, you constantly have inner conflict, you are constantly hurt or you're not being heard, it can be very frustrating. And then sometimes we start to doubt. We start to doubt God, we start to doubt ourselves, we start to doubt if even the idea that we had is even a possibility. And that is a very scary thing to do. That is, for me, always one of the most painful processes to go to. When we want a certain destination, or when we know we are presented with some kind of opportunity and we feel like, if I take this route, it is what's going to bring me happiness. It's what's going to give me life fulfillment. It's what's going to give me love, eyes, pleasure, everything, right? Security. When we attach those feelings to some kind of outcome, it can be very scary. It can be very confusing when it starts to slip into our mind that maybe this is not what we thought it was. Because what happens to me a lot of the times, and I don't know if you relate, but one of the first things that I start to doubt is whether the idea that I had, whether those feelings that I was striving towards, whether they even exist, whether it's even possible to get to that point. It always starts to feel like, why was I so foolish for pursuing a dream? Why did I think that this was ever possible? Why was I dreaming so big? Why was I allowing to open up my heart so broadly? Because when you do open your heart and when you do dare to dream, you're gonna be met with a lot of disappointment in life. A lot of the times it's going to be disappointing and it's going to hurt, but the strength lies in daring to reopen your heart every single time, even when something fails, because it's not because whatever happened to you in the past, whatever opportunity or route you followed in the past, or whatever you feel like is not working out right now, it's not because this is not what you thought it would be, that there is not a reality, or that there is not a destination, there is not a route, or you are not already on the route that is still leading you to that fulfillment, to that happiness, to that love, to that success. I think with dating for me, it was very challenging trying to understand if it was even possible to have that kind of, I'm a romantic at heart, man, like that movie type of love, that love with no drama, that is just open communication and real love, like not just settling for someone that you have good communication with, you guys get together, but there's not that fire. Like I always wondered, is it even possible to have that kind of love? And as I was dating and I thought I found it, and then no, it was not that, and then you do that trial and error again and again, it can be so easy to give up hope and to feel like you're foolish for dreaming, for believing, for chasing after something, because our mind wants to protect the heart, but the heart wants to dream big, the heart wants to love, the heart wants to be open, the heart wants to hurt. Sometimes we can be very addicted to hurting. It's what brings the balance and the duality to all the beauty in life, but our mind wants to protect the heart at all cost. So sometimes we can be in the way of our own blessings by thinking that whatever we want is no longer available because our current reality is showing us that whatever was around us right now is not leading us to that path. That in itself is such a difficult process. It's not easy to go through, and even to realize that within yourself, it's very painful and it takes time. There's no need to force yourself out of thinking differently. There's no need to force yourself to believe in something before you're ready. Everything happens in its own time. So I also invite you to take just a space to feel your feelings, but maybe you can use this video and maybe you can use this conversation as a way to have this conversation with yourself and to really look internally, like, what are my beliefs about my happiness, about my love? Do I believe that I can have the things that I truly want, or am I somewhere sabotaging my own happiness because I've been through something, or I have certain beliefs based on the experiences that I already have, or based on my current reality? It might be that right now you're even still putting up with some things that aren't really what you want, but you're afraid to let go of it because somewhere your mind already knows if you let go of this, you're going to be back to not believing that it was possible, gaslighting yourself, making yourself feel bad for trying and believing in the first place, and maybe you will give up. It's going to hurt. It's true. Following your dreams and doing what you chasing your desires is a path that is gonna bring pain. I don't know if it was the Stoics, or also Taoism that talks about that. Like, if you want to not hurt in life, just stop desiring. But what is a life without a little bit of ups and downs and sugar and spice, So I don't know. You got to make the decisions. Do you want to live fully? Do you want to live and experience all the ups and downs and allow the beauty of life through the light and the shadow to be experienced through you? Or do you want to find a safe space and just run away from the painful feelings, which is possible, and give up your desires and maybe live a very good, boring, emotional life and be happy with that? Some people are happy with that. I'm not judging or anything. Like, I know, because sometimes I even ask myself, why can't I just live a life that is good on paper and let go my desires? Because it does hurt a lot. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of balls or tits, whatever you like. If you're in a place right now where you had to let go of something and something just didn't work out, I really want to share the idea that maybe it's very beneficial for you to see this as God's protection. Rejection truly is God's protection. And that's something I hear a lot. And when you're going through that process of being rejected, that's not really something that I like to hear, because I'm just like, but I want this, this doesn't feel good. I don't want to be rejected. I finally deserved it. Like, how long is it gonna take? But truly, once you're out of those hard feelings and looking back, I'm always so grateful that things did not play out the way that I wanted to, because sometimes there's just things hidden that we don't know about certain realities, about certain people, about certain environments, that if we looked the way it would have played out in the future, it would have actually hurt us so much more. But sometimes it has to be in our life for a certain span of time to actually help us to let go, to root ourselves more into our trust, to practice more patience, to practice more belief. Sometimes we have to learn to put up some more boundaries. Sometimes we have to learn to stand up for ourselves. Sometimes we have to learn to be more honest with ourselves more frequently. I truly believe that some things are just going to keep reoccurring, and you can be stuck in a cycle. You can call it a karmic cycle, as long as you don't learn the lesson. We can say to God, we can say to the universe, we can speak it out and say that we want something. But if we want something, there are always responsibilities attached to a certain reality. It's very easy to have certain desires. It's very easy to say, I want to have a big family with a big house and I want to be successful. But success is not only in the way that we see it. Success is not only in the visible. It's also a way of life. It's also how you protect yourself. It's also how you can carry that success. It's how you can keep it. It's not about getting it and then letting it go. If you want to be happy, if you want to be successful, God wants the same for you. But He's just making sure that you're prepared. He's preparing you to be able to sustain whatever success He brings into your life. So sometimes it can be very frustrating, and we can, always say like, hey, yo, why is it not coming? But there's just things that we do not know that God knows better than we do. And I don't know if you believe in God, but that's just my way of referring to it. So you can fill it, name it in however you want, whatever your belief system is. If you believe in a higher power, if you believe about something also controlling our reality besides our own ability to take control, there are things that are just only explainable by the divine. And I believe in that divine. And I truly think that that divine entity wants the best for us and wants to see us happy and grow, but it takes work. And we are in a world that also simultaneously wants to see us down and out and feeds off of our energy. So, it's just a battle that we have to fight. And it's a fight. It's not easy. They call it God's strongest soldier for a reason, because it's a lifelong fight. I hope it doesn't take that long, but child, you gotta take it with it, okay? So if you are in this place right now where things are so uncertain, you don't know what the future holds, you don't really have anything to hold on to, no type of job that gives you an outcome of where you're going to be in the next 10 years, no kind of idea what you're going to do after your studies, you don't have a relationship, you don't have your house for yourself, I don't know, whatever you are, whatever fits for your situation. And if you're in that place right now where you have this uncertainty, try to see it as the most extreme form of freedom. You are so free right now. You're mentally free. You're physically free. And we're always free, by the way, no matter what kind of job we have, no matter what kind of, family is kind of different, because I do believe in taking responsibilities. And once you have your children, your freedom is just not worth more than the needs of your children. But that's just my opinion. But I don't even have children yet, so don't even care about my opinion. Yeah, I do believe that we always have freedom, and even if you're already in a job, you can always leave it, okay? I know it's very scary when we're attached to certain things, or we have a partner, or we already made some huge decisions and we have especially financial attachments to certain things. It can be very scary, and that can make us feel very attached. If you do not have that attachment, do you imagine how free you are? And when I say free, I don't necessarily mean to go outside or to travel the world or to do whatever you want. It's more a freedom in the mind. You are so free to reinvent your whole future. You are so free to think about how far you can go. Maybe your dreams weren't even as big as you actually deep down truly desire them to be. Sometimes we're also afraid to dream, and sometimes we have to go through certain experiences to unlock certain needs, you know? Sometimes we get exactly what we wanted, and while we're in it, we realize that there's something missing. Or maybe this wasn't really exactly what I wanted. And it's through those opportunities that we are, like I said, presented with some parts within ourselves that maybe prior we didn't dare to open, we didn't dare to look at. It's like there's always new puzzle pieces coming as we go through experiences. And that's a very, I don't know, is that not a beautiful way to put it? I kind of like that way of putting it, you know? Yeah, take it like that if you like. And just know that you are able to go back to the drawing board and to really say that, okay, now that I've been through this, do I still really want this? Or was this more because society tells me that I want this? Get to know yourself again and know that you're free to completely change the future you want, to completely think different, dream outside the box, or completely change your whole way of defining your sense of success, your sense of self, and the route that you think that you have to take in life to be happy. You might go higher and further than you thought before. Dare to dream. That was a video, man. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I really hope it made some kind of sense. I really hope you found some type of solace and reassurance that it's all okay. You're so protected. Everything's gonna be all right, even when you're lost. Rejection is God's protection. I know it sucks sometimes, but it's a good way of seeing bad things happening in life sometimes, or our feelings getting hurt, because that's inevitable. Just remember, this is a way of thinking. This is a story that we can apply to make life easier if you want. It's a story that can reinforce certain beliefs that we want to grow in, and let go of other beliefs that maybe make us feel like it's holding us back. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you liked it. If you feel like anyone needs this, feel free to share the video. Please like, and I would love if you subscribe to the channel. There's much more where this came from, so I would like to see you in the next video. Bye.